May profits be upon you. Welcome to another midweek analysis. All right, now we're doing this one for the euro, and I find it very interesting. That's why I want to. I'm looking at it because, well, as you can see, like I pointed out in the the previous analysis I gave during the weekly Forex forecast. Make sure you check that video out. I put it out this past Sunday, and you can check that out in the links below this video. But what I have seen is this descending channel, right? And there's a couple of different ways you can uh, put these support the support line and the resistance lines of this channel, and you can have it touching the top here, all right, where it misses these two. But I like to involve all of the touches if I can, and with that line and this bottom line is pretty close. It looks pretty consistent. But here is our main attraction here, the most current touch. Now let's zoom in here. Let me do it this way. All right. Now, this is the weekly time frame, right? And what I'm drew out here is this the bottom of this candle and the top of this candle forms the fair value gap area. All right. And as we know, sometimes you can actually see, you can count on these things to help price move in a particular direction. Now, what happens is price seems to have broke out of the trend line, right? I don't trade trend lines. I use them as liquidity lines, but I'll explain that in another video. But what happens is it peeked its head over the line. We have a break and a close with this candle above that line, right? But it's not it. It didn't close past the high of the previous candle. That's pretty telling because when I see that, like I pointed out in the previous forecast, uh, when the candle closes below the high of the previous candle, when that candle closes, it's indicating that there's not enough momentum or buyers involved to push price higher. All right, and it's likely that the next candle will probably take that low, that the this current candle's lows, and that's exactly what happened. But what I'm looking for with that low is, will it trade through and close below that low? That's what I'm looking for. All right, now this weekly candle is still young and it's still forming. All right, it did poke its nose below that low, but since has pulled back. That is nothing for me, is other than an impulsive move, which is the down move, and a retracement. All right, a retracement to 50 to 60% of this impulsive move. And what usually follows behind that is another impulsive move, which is a low, lower high, lower low. Why uh, trading views, drawing tools draw that way with squiggly lines? I don't know. But if we use, you'll have to excuse that. All right. If we use this tool, we'll say one down, a pullback, and then down. That's what I was trying to draw without all this squiggly stuff. Anyway, all right. So I'm thinking that there's, I am leaning on the side that price may continue down and close beyond that low. Even though we swept it already, uh, it would seem that with the time left, we have what 2 days and 2 hours left. Uh, yeah, there's a good chance we're probably going to see this get closed below. Now let's go to the daily. All right. again, we have a fair value gap, and price could use that fair value gap, the weekly fair value gap here, to tap into, find support, and then continue up. That is the potential of that fair value gap. Or it could fail. It could be disrespected, and price could go through it. Now, what do we have here? This is our Monday candle. All right. You see how it closed? Closed below the low of the of Thursday and actually Friday's candle, which doesn't show here. TradingView doesn't show the holiday candle for Independence Day candle. I don't know why, but it doesn't, and that's fine. But it closed below that, and this was um, the today's candle, right? Tuesdays. All right. It did close. It did sweep the low and pushed up higher. All right. It pushed up higher, and then you saw the seller step back in and push that candle down. Now it looks like an indecisive doji candle, right? What happens with this next candle? What happens with Wednesday's candle? Do we see that low, or do we move up higher? Well, with indecisive candles, it can go either way. All right, but we want to watch something. What we have here is a daily fair value gap and another one right up under it. Remember, we are also those are embedded, what do you call, nested within the weekly bullish fair value gap. A daily fair value gap, a daily fair value gap inside of a weekly fair value gap. There should be some support here for higher prices, right? It should be. In theory, it's supposed to work that way. But I'm watching this very closely, and what I'm noticing is when price came down and tested the weekly candle, the weekly fair value gap and the daily fair value gap, it didn't give that hard push up. It didn't. All right. What is that telling me? That there may be more strength in the U.S. dollar. All right. There may be some weakness in the euro, but I'm looking at the U.S. dollar because of the tariff war and the July 9th deadlines and the extension of the tariff kick-ins again, kicking the can down the line a little bit by the Trump administration. So we have some uncertainty. So we see some inflows going into the U.S. dollar as a safe haven. We're starting to see people moving towards safe havens because of Trump and the back and forth with his decision making in regards to the tariffs. Now, I want you to pair this with something. Look at this line. Look at the muted reaction to it. All right, with the euro, and with that in mind, I want to take you over to the U.S. dollar index. All right, now with the U.S. dollar index, let me go here. We are in the ascending channel, right? And you can see how I have just missing those tops, but got these three here, and we have these bottoms 1 and 2, and we're at that support line of this ascending channel. All right, these are things I wrote from article I printed from articles posted from in regards to tariffs and everything. I put those in this weekend. We can get rid of these. I'm sorry. All right, so this area of emphasis, right? What I want you to see is, let me turn it down because that guy might drive me crazy. All right, so what I want you to see here is the same area where we're contacting right now. The US dollar, the Dixie, rather, the US dollar index has reacted to the coming into contact with this support line on the weekly. And you see it turned bullish, right? Came into contact, showed respect, turned bullish. All right, this is the current week we're in. There is a fair value gap here, right? You can see it. from this low to this high. All right. And we have come into contact with it. And so far, it looks like it's showing some respect. All right. So far, this is the weekly candle. Let's go to the daily. All right. And what do we see? This is the area that concerns me. All right. Right here. That is a bearish daily fair value gap. All right. It's actually a weekly. I drew it out here because I stretched it just a minute ago on the the weekly, but it should be looking like this on the daily, from this low to this high. Boom. All right. But just remember that we are inside of a weekly fair value gap here. I can't remember exactly where the edges are. Let me draw it out again. Should have did this the first time. All right. And yeah, so this is the daily inside of that weekly, just like the opposite on the euro. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that this area here has a volume imbalance, a price gap, right? Price likes to go up to those price gaps to close them. And I mentioned that in the forecast I gave last weekend, and sure enough, that's where we find the hesitancy. That's where we find these respect candles, right at that gap, right inside the daily bearish fair value gap and the weekly fair value gap that overlaps it. All right. This is an area where one could have a pretty reasonable expectation that things might turn bearish. And we did get a bearish candle today. Excuse me. This is Tuesday's candle. We got that bearish reaction, but it's not the strongest reaction. Look at the wick here, right? It's not the strongest reaction in the world. All right, and we probed pretty well, but I do say that the candle closed below the fair value gaps. All right, are we going to see some follow through? If we see the follow through on the US dollar, that means it's weakening. That would mean the euro will go higher. All right. But if these overlapping fair value gaps with this volume imbalance, if it does give way, then the euro is going down, Jack. It's going down to Chinatown. Okay. All right. So that's what we're watching. Excuse me. That's what we're watching. And I got to tell you something. I happen to like the bullish view of it. I think there's a chance this gives up, that we go up higher. Why? Because there's another volume imbalance up here. All right. This little dotted line represents, let me get rid of those. That represents the 50% of this trading range. 50%. Okay. And above the 50% line is premium prices and discount prices. You want to take your shorts from premium prices. You want to take your longs from premium prices. All right, that is one of the tools that ICT gave us. I like that, the fact that here we would only be retracing 38% when we need to be above that 50% in order to take shorts. All right. Here, I don't want to short. I do not want to take that short unless it breaks structure, unless it takes out the fractal low here. All right. If you don't understand what a fractal low is, it's the, let me get it. All right. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. The most recent low before it took this high. All right, before it had this market structure shift here, bullish, is here. All right, and if we got a pullback already, Are we going to see some follow through? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I kind of doubt it because we would have seen I would have liked to have seen an engulfing move here, a stronger candle. I would have liked to have seen that. I don't know why my mouse is moving so slow. So I'm watching this next candle. Are we going to take this high? That's what I want to know. Are we going to trade through this, the overlapping fair value gaps? If the overlapping fair value gaps fail, we're going past this 50%. We're going up here, and that's what where I would expect. Because this is a 618, a golden ratio. This is where I would expect an engulfing move down, and then some follow through. All right. So near term bullishness is what I expect in the book in the US dollar index. But we got to watch. That'll only be confirmed once we take that high. All right. So if we got an area to watch, and we also have an area to watch with the euro, which is the point of this video. All right. If we get through these confluences, the bullish fair value gaps within the weekly bullish fair value gap, the overlapping weekly fair value gap, if it makes it through there, where are we going? There is a bullish fair value gap down here where there is a move that was down. We took out that move down here. This would be, for me, a change in the state of delivery. We see the displacement here. There is a bullish fair value gap here and a bullish fair value gap here. I like this area for a higher probability trade to the upside. So this breakout may be a fake out, but it all depends on what it does at the current levels. And honestly, I do not want to take a short in this market from this level. I want to see it prove that it wants to go down, that the intent, there's energy behind that intent. Meanwhile, if it breaks these highs, once it starts to trade above this high with a close, then I know we're going up to higher buy side liquidity. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? If we go below this low and get a close and start closing within the overlapping bullish fair value gaps, then I'm looking for price to come on down here. That is at 1.1637. I hope that I was clear in my analysis, and there's the question of whether it's going to turn bullish or bearish depends on what happens within the next 24 hours, folks. I'm looking at this candle. Now I'm looking for a close below or above. All right, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to see. I don't want to enter in this market until I see a close below or above Tuesday's candle. So we could be heading on the way up, but with the tariff stuff going on and July 9th sitting right there, I think it's time to pause and take a close look at this. You know what I mean? If there's a hint, and I didn't look, if there's a hint on the 4-hour, that would be awesome. All right. You can see it dancing on the on the daily fair value gap. And there's another one right below it. There's that because we swept this low and didn't have an engulfing move to the upside, that makes me think there's not enough energy. There's not enough buyers here to get involved, to push price higher. That's why I'm thinking that it will fail, and we'll penetrate deeper into the weekly bullish fair value gap. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, hit the boost button, and leave a comment. All right, leave a comment, and I answer all the comments. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. May profits be upon you.